as a Penn State alum, what are your thoughts
hmm
on fellow MMA star Bo Nickel and his trajectory so far, or have you trained or spoken to him at all?
yes. Yes and yes. Yeah, no, Bo is he's amazing and you know, he's still super green. So if you're impressed with Bo right now, give him some time. Let the man cook. He's getting better by the day. It's one of those things right now. He's still putting on incredibly impressive performances and each day he's just getting a little bit better. And you know what wrestlers are able to do is just extract um, the most out of every position, the most out of every you know uh, like minor victory. If you hurt someone, they can kind of lean on that. If you find someone that's slow, they can kind of lean on that. Um, And Bo, you have to be very. I speak a lot about the intelligence that goes into, making a high level athlete, and he's extremely brilliant as a competitor. So yeah, no, I'm hyped. I'm excited for him. I'm proud of the guy, and yeah. I think,
Very nice.
honestly, I think, Penn State has kind of run away with wrestling, and I think we quite possibly could have some more guys in this MMA pipeline.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm a fan of Penn State wrestling. I was going to make a mention at the fact that I went to Rutgers, and we often consider ourselves Penn State rivals, but I feel like Penn State folks don't really consider us much of anything. But yeah, I'm with you on the Bo Nickel.
No, no, we're Big Ten now. Come on now.
That's
No,
right.
we're
That's right.
rivals. We're Big Ten.
Well, I'm glad you said that on the big stage.
Yeah.
All right.
You're
Well,
welcome. Cheers,
one
boss.
more I got. Well, actually, I got a couple more. So
Okay, okay.
I'm wondering, like, have you considered or taken seriously like a run at heavyweight to kind of potentially extend your career? I'd love to see as many fights as possible out of you. As long as you're having fun with it, and maybe if you did move up to heavyweight, do you think that your athleticism can be used to outwork some of those bigger guys?
At one point I was probably more willing to entertain heavyweight fights. And I mean, for the right matchup, I'd probably still do it. I'm down to scrap anybody. But I've just been maintaining my weight so well. Um, it's at this point I'm locked in. I'm dialed in as far as weight goes. Um, so maybe. That's a strong maybe, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Uh yeah, it would be for a fun matchup, but it wouldn't just be for S and
Yeah.
G's.
Yeah, I feel you there. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Exactly.
So I guess, let's say heavyweight doesn't happen. It's just not in the cards for you. Is there another part of the sport, coaching, commentary, media that you'd prepare for that you'd want to do when fighting is over? Because again, you're such a staple in the sport that I don't think anybody would want to see you go for sure.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the question?
If you weren't to move on to heavyweight and continue
hmm
fighting there, when the time does come and you say, all right, I'm laying down the gloves, would you want to
hmm
stick around as far as coaching, commentary, media, to what extent would you want to stick around?
I love the sport of MMA. I love the people. I love the atmosphere. I generally just I'm always going to be involved. It's kind of how I am with the sport of wrestling. I'm just always going to be involved with wrestling. I have a team that I help coach back in San Diego, both wrestling and MMA. Always going to be involved in that. I love just being a part of, giving people what they need on the mental side as well as the physical side to reach the high levels of MMA. It's not quite as simple as you got to want to win. How do you cultivate an attitude that allows you to have continued success over your career. And so I love teaching, and I love just kind of like being involved in the process of helping to create other champions.
Very nice. That's exciting. Well, last one from me. So eye pokes have become a major topic in MMA, and with all the glove designs kind of being the center of the debate. Now, you have a very impressive track record and resume. So you've worn a lot of gloves. You've worn the UFC Sentry gloves, Bellator's Leon and Everlast, and now PFL's Fuji gloves. Do you have a favorite? Do you notice any meaningful differences? What are your thoughts on the gloves debacle?
Well, we have to have uh you know, announce if there's any bias, right? So PFL pays me, so naturally their gloves are the best.
Absolutely.
Uh because they pay me, right? Um but moving from there, I would say Strike Force with I think they had
They use Fairtex and Awano, I believe.
Vertex
Yep.
top glove. Best glove I've ever seen. Um yeah, that was an exceptional glove. Um one of my favorites. Moving down, the Bellator glove, it was pretty solid. The I'm not a huge fan of the Sentry gloves.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of them. They have had several the glove changed a few times while I was in the promotion, and I think well I know for certain they've had several iterations since then. Um, the last time I checked it, it was it stacked up, I think, fair. Um, I don't think any fighter takes that glove and says, "My man, I have arrived. This is the best glove on the market." I don't think so. It's interesting. But I think more than anything, it's it's a powerful brand, and that's what makes the glove good, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks so much for an insightful response. Best of luck on your fight.
Hmm. Thank you.
Andrew.
Hey Phil, how you doing?
How are you? Doing well.
Doing okay, doing okay. Just a few questions for you. It's been almost, I think, 2 years since your last fight. Can you tell us why there was a layoff and what you've been doing in between then and now?
Yeah. Uh I I bought a restaurant with a basement, and in the basement, I've kind of been running this illegal gambling ring. But it's been going well. It's
Hmm.
been going well. But then the feds raided it, then ATF raided it. It got out of control. But yeah, I've been dealing with that. Other than that, life's been good.
Okay, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Well, hopefully you'll be able to get back on your feet with that little hiccup. The other thing I wanted to ask is, so you've been, fighting for, I don't like to ask fighters when they plan to retire, but do you have like a timetable for how long, much longer you want to be putting your body through this training, cutting weight, all that stuff? Do you have a timetable for yourself, or are you
Right.
just going to,
That's
yeah,
why
go
I
ahead.
invest in gambling. Because you know what I mean? It's like, what do you gotta do? Yeah, people always need food and they always need to gamble. S-
Got you, got you.
So, yeah, meet them
Oh,
where they're at.
sorry. What was that?
You gotta meet them where they're at.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, best of luck this week. I'll make sure to gamble for you.
All right. Thank you.
Mills.
Hey, how's it going, Mr. Wonderful? It's MMA Locker Room, part of Pub Sports Radio.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. I just got to pick up with what you're just giving out right now. Oh, man, a big gambler, right? All right. So, what are some of the sports that you like to gamble on?
Wow. Big Formula One fan. Well, yeah, no, I'm not gonna take that back. Yeah, no, I love me some Formula One. Um, in fact, I started to put it out on my Instagram. See if anybody wanted to join my Formula One fantasy league. But then I was like, I don't know. I didn't want to. I should have done it. I really should have. Right now I'm in second place, and to the person that's in first place in my fantasy league, I don't mean this in any like aggressive, this is not a threat, but I'm going to find you and I'm going to kick your butt. Trust and believe. But
Love it.
anyway, PFL is in Orlando this week, live on PFL, live on ESPN. Shortly after that, the Miami Grand Prix is going down in Miami, right down the road, right down the 9-5. You can catch it also on ESPN. But you got to watch me first on Thursday night.
Got it, man. I mean, everybody's gonna be watching you this Thursday night, man. Headlining a good main event.
Yeah.
But let's look back at your career a little bit, man. I like to give fighters their flowers, while I get them on the mic. I mean, you have some of the better submissions that we've seen actually pulled off. You have a win by Anaconda and you have a Kimura. Is there any submission left that you're scratching for to fill that itch, your fantasy submission?
You know, yeah. And I saw what Liz did. She's dope, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. She's the type of fighter that makes people jealous. People like me jealous. I see her, and I'm like, hey, you really gave people a list of things that you plan to do, and then you really went out and did it. Like she's dope. She's on another level. I will tell you that. Liz Cartmo, she's dope. Me, I'm okay. I'm okay. I definitely have a couple of submissions that I've been working on, that I've been developing over the years. And truthfully, it just comes out of the moves that I organically do. It comes out of my style. It comes out of the positions that I end up in. And, you know, they are kind of uniquely my submissions, even though they are submissions that if you're a jujitsu practitioner, you'd say, oh yeah, no, I know that's a triangle. That's nothing special. I get that. But it's the consistency that I get these positions, those triangles, that kind of makes those moves mine. So I am I'm looking to get a few more. I don't know. Maybe it's a buggy choke. I
Okay.
do got a dope buggy choke. I do got a dope buggy choke. Do I think I'll get to it this weekend? Maybe not. But you never know. You never know.
Got it, man. And then I only got two left. One, when you fight against Anthony Rumble Johnson, rest in
Yeah.
peace. A lot of people might not remember his career. For the people that don't remember anything, can
Yeah.
you just give the people something that you took away from that 15-minute fight with them?
Um. Yeah. Actually. So the very first thing that I took away from that fight was, I've always heard that if you don't have two eyes, you don't have true depth perception. And that's never really made sense to me because I can always close one eye and have great depth perception. And in that moment, I was fighting. We were, kind of mixing it up, and he hits me with an uppercut. I'm pretty sure that uppercut puts 90% of people straight to sleep. And I did not go to sleep. I got cut and it was bad. I remember I saw like blood just like right into my eye. And anytime I'm in a situation like that, especially with a guy like Anthony Johnson, you got to show no fear and you got to act like you're not hurt and act like you're not freaking out. No, I'm normal. I'm fine. I'm fine. And I could not see out of one eye. I think it was my left eye, but anyway, um, for the rest of that fight, I was just all of my punches were coming up about an inch, 2 inches short, and it was unusual to me because I was getting hit with punches that I don't normally get hit with. And part of that is Anthony Johnson just being a very tactful and skillful fighter. Shout out to my guy, rest in peace. But also, I I wasn't able to gauge that. I play a very dangerous game all the time. Of I can touch you, but you can't touch me. And for the rest of that fight, he could touch me, but I couldn't. I couldn't find him, and I ended up forcing myself. Like you got to just run at him because I couldn't distinguish where the end of my hand was without my other eye because bloody, and then it just had blood in it. I had blood kind of fall from my eyebrow into my eye, and even when we got the blood out, I was just blinking the whole time. It was just not right until until you do a proper rinse backstage. I was like, golly, it makes so much sense now. Makes so much sense. It was hard to watch too because it was almost very consistently about 1 inch off. And he stopped slipping my punches because he was just like, whoop, it came right up to his head. It was just right at the same spot, not touching him.
And just to pick up off of what you just said, consistently, it seems like you've been winning consistently. UFC, winning record. Bellator, winning record. PFL is coming around the corner. But it seems like some of these fighters are giving disrespect out there. Thad Gene was on Ariel Helwani on an interview right after you
Mhm.
came on. And after you came off the show, he was saying, I don't even know who this guy is. And Ariel Helwani was trying to school him. Man, he's fought this guy. He's been in the UFC. Don't know him. Don't know who he is. Did you see that out there? And what do you feel about that?
Um, one of my guys sent it in the group chat. I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know. Yeah, I think yeah, he's welcome to his opinion.
Got it.
I don't really take in disrespect from fighters, even my weight class, another weight class, it truly doesn't matter. I wish him the best in his career. And one day I'm sure he'll be on top. And one day I'm sure that there's a guy who has significantly less following that's going to start taking shots at him. And he'll have the same reaction I do. He'll say, all the best, my brother.
Wonderful discussion with you and class act of all time. Let's go, Cali, San Diego.
Yeah.
Nathan.
Nathan Addison with ESPN and the PR announcement. What's going on, Phil? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
I'm doing well. Rob alluded to how he analyzed you earlier in his career, given you're a prominent name in the PFL known to wrestle.
Mhm.
If any examination, what do you see in him that separates him from the rest of the competition?
You know, I think what separates him from the rest of the competition is how many steps forward he takes. So, a lot of guys will they'll take 1 step forward and 1 step to the right and just kind of try to see how much they can cut you off and take advantage of your footwork. And Rob is a guy that'll take 2 steps forward, maybe 3 steps forward. That's a very unusual style, a very unusual style, and he uses it to his advantage pretty well.
And just given main event, on ESPN, when we talk
Mhm.
about, this format, I'm curious to know just from you, because the PFL has been very great at it. If fighters were granted the opportunity, to create their ideal format, what would that
Mhm.
look like for you if you were given creative control? And what would it be? What would you like to see?
Mm. Um, Ideal format in terms of what?
In terms of just obviously, with just tournaments. So like when we speak about this one, it's a win or go home,
Right.
something like that. Like what would be the ideal, format that you've never seen before in MMA history that you would love to see? Or if, for example, if the PFL did grant, fighters a creative control type of moment, if that ever happened. Just think about that. Let that marinate for a minute.
I got it. I got it. All right, so check it out. This is how I would imagine it would work. So you would have your champion, and then you would have maybe your top 4 or 5. And at some point, below that top 4 or 5, you would have a tournament, right? So the top maybe one or two guys from your tournament, they move up to the top five. And maybe just the champion, maybe the top one or two. They move up into that top five of the division. And the top five of the division maybe have one fight, maybe two fights. And then that creates a clear kind of system towards, fighting the champion. Um, I like I love how linear a tournament format is. It helps keeps the fan kind of like they know what each win means. They understand why this matchup matters. A lot of times it's like, okay, let's say number 10 versus number 8. What does this matchup mean? I don't know. It means that they move up, or it means that number 8 could move down. But you know what I mean? It adds more structure to what will happen in the event of a win for either person. But also, I kind of like the idea of how soccer does it, how you get relegated if your team doesn't have enough wins. So if you're in that top five and you lose a fight, you get relegated back into the tournament, and you're in there with the fresh blood, and you have to prove that you are in that top five, and you need to be in the contention to fight for the title. But that's off the top of my head. Okay, I didn't put too much thought behind it. If somebody's listening to this and you're like, Phil, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Okay, okay, fair enough. I had low calories. I've only had 500 calories in the last 24 hours. You come up with a great idea on 500 calories.
I appreciate it, Phil. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
All right, Shady.
All right, Phil, I'm back again. We spoke earlier, but I wanted to give some folks to ask some more technical questions before I ask my selfish ones.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty, so your social media. I love the approach that you take with your Instagram. A lot of fighters keep their social media just a bunch of business and just fights, and I guess if I can say that, that seems sometimes a little boring. You share a lot of personal stuff, which I love, and it allows us fans to be a little bit more relatable or related to you, the fighter. And which that takes me back a couple years ago. You visited Egypt. That's my national land where my parents are from. I
Let's
don't visit
go.
too often, and when I do, I don't think we don't go to the too touristy areas, and so my experience is probably a little different. But I wanted to ask, like, what led you to go there, and what was it like?
Man, my cornerman Nick and I we were just talking about Egypt this morning, over my 500 calorie breakfast. Um, um, so I had a fight in Israel, versus, Mr. Vadim Nemkov, and my cornerman and I flew, down to Egypt afterwards. We did the all the Holy Land tour stuff, and saw all that we came to see there. It was amazing. Then we were still in that corner of the world. I'm all about seeing as much as I possibly can. Um, and so we flew down to Egypt, and it was great, man. It was absolutely. I had some points I can use on hotels. Uh, got us into some really great hotels in Gaza, not Gaza, Cairo and Giza. Um, it was absolutely phenomenal. What I love about Egypt is Egypt. When I visited, they were a very proud people, and not like proud in a bad way. It's just like they were proud to share so much. So when I visit, I go to the museums, I check the art, I like history. I just like to experience the culture, and also, food, because food. Uh, and everybody was just like, "Hey, let me share my culture with you." And I'm like, "Give it to me. What you got?" Like, just everything, absolutely everything. My the whole I went to stay at the Four Seasons while I was there, right on the Nile, and my bellhop was like, "Hey, just so you know, when Obama comes to town, he stays here." It was, okay. It was just a bunch of funny stuff like that too. Everybody's super proud of that country, and it's actually I had the best time there. I would go back in a heartbeat. I plan to go back. I plan to go back.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. My wife is going to use this against me because she's been begging to plan a trip there, and I've kind of been a little resistant. But I'm glad you
Uh-huh.
had a good experience.
Dude, I'm telling you, next time I go, I'm gonna take the Nile tour. Some of my the travel mates, they did a Nile tour starting in Alexandria, all the way down to they went to Luxor, they went to Memphis, just straight down. I was like, I have to come back and do that. I was so jealous. I was like, you guys are having too much fun.
Well, I don't want to mix too much of work and leisure for you, but if when you do eventually make your way back to Egypt, I'd urge you to look into some of the MMA scene there. I think it's underdeveloped and underfocused, and there's a lot of promising prospects and fighters. And it seems
Hmm.
like every major promotion always has like one or two fighters out of Egypt, and
Hmm.
then if they don't make their run, then it's like we're back at zero. We got to start all over.
Well,
But I hopefully it develops.
I tell you what, I hate to be do too much of leisure with my business, but if someone could just connect me with maybe someone in that MMA scene, we could probably set up a visit, a little what do you call that? A seminar. We could make that happen.
Hey Phil,
We can make that happen.
if you mean that, I have the right names for you. So
I mean that.
I'll reach
I
out to you on
mean that.
Instagram and see.
I absolutely loved Egypt. I would go back in a heartbeat.
Very nice. Yeah, I'll definitely take you up on that. I'll throw some names out and you do your magic.
All right.
Only other question I have for you, you're a Christian man. I love that you post about things on, your religion on your Instagram. It's in your bio. I often say that faith is one of the best bases for MMA. And people
Hmm.
sometimes have no idea what I'm talking about unless they practice a faith of some sort. Any of them. I'm a Christian as well, but I think faith is it's a huge benefit to your discipline and to your mental health. What would you say? What would you say as far as your Christian faith and how it interacts with your professional work and athleticism as a fighter?
Hmm. Man, that's hey, you gotta if I steal that, you gotta lease that to me, right?
Yeah, go for it. It's all yours. We'll share
That's a
it.
dope phrase. It's a dope phrase. So you know what I think is no matter what you do in life, I think you have an obligation to do it with integrity. And um I can punch somebody in the face and elbow him in the head and you know to me it doesn't become disrespectful and it doesn't become wrong in my heart until I want to cause them pain. You know, this is a sport and I generally love and respect all the other participants. I wish the best for them. I'm actually really sad when they get hurt post fight. And you know, sometimes you can get too caught up in the MMA, and you know, you start saying these hurtful things, and you start wishing terrible things on other people. You know, I want to have a great performance. I want this to be one of the best performances of my life. Um, and I really hope that Rob can go home to his family on Friday. Excuse me, Friday or Saturday, whenever he leaves, and you know, he's safe and he's relatively unharmed. You know, I don't need to break any bones or anything. I believe whatever you do, it can be done with integrity, and that's what I like to lean on. Not causing pain. My job is to win, and I can do that sometimes without injury.
Yeah, that's extremely inspiring and admirable. So thanks, Phil, for being one of the
Mhm.
most incredible speakers, both in the octagon and outside.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Appreciate
you.
you.
Good luck.
Don't forget me.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna send you some names, all right, about the Egypt
Yeah.
stuff, and then listen, if you need to use that faith or Christianity is the best base and strongest base in MMA, it's yours.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, last question, Ken.
K Williams for Ken Chronic. Hey Phil, K Williams for Ken Chronicles Media. Can you talk to us a little bit about training camp leading up to this fight as far as personal growth and mental preparation?
Yeah. Um, training camp was pretty good. It was pretty solid. Pretty solid training camp. I have great people around me. You know, I've always had really great training partners, and over the years, I'm so fortunate to be able to be in this game for a number of years, and over time, those training partners they move away, they life happens, and they retire, and just all sorts of things, and uh, you know. I'm in such a great spot now because I'm helping to bring up a really good group of MMA professionals, and they're definitely people that I'm excited for the media at large to get to know one day, and it's in addition to learning skills, you also have to learn how to train as hard as you possibly can without hurting your teammate. And I remember when I was getting into MMA, when not getting into it, Brandon Vera, man, he would beat the crap out of me, and he would do it in like the sweetest way possible. He would never knock me out, but he would just like, "Oh, you okay? All right," and just really, I was learning as I was losing. And that is the most incredible thing you can do as a training partner, is just help your partner to learn. And now I'm in that position where you know, I'm able to hurt my training partner, but no one wins by being hurt. And I'm able to really kind of like bring that lesson to life of, you know, beating my training partner, but how allowing them to learn in the process, and ultimately they've been able to push me, and man, I'm just in such a great spot. I have such a great group of training partners right now because of that.
And also at 40 years old, I mean, being a seasoned vet in the game, how do you continue to find ways that motivate you to be an even better fighter moving forward?
Yeah, I think being intrinsically motivated is the key to anything really, but especially something like athletics, something like work, something that involves that external component. Money is a thing, and it's a thing, and I like it, but it's not the reason why I got into the sport. It's not the reason why I'm doing it right now. It's not the thing that gets me out of bed in the morning. It is the thing that's icing on the cake. What really drives me is a willingness to, you know, at a very simple level, do the thing that I said I would do. That makes me feel good. When I'm able to do exactly what I said I would do, a lot of people say, I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. So, well, that may not be possible. I want to lose in 2 months. Okay. And then if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I like to really push myself. I set benchmarks. I want to get up every morning. I want to do this. I want to eat this way. I want to have this many workouts. I want to train this many rounds. And keeping those promises to yourself is a very fulfilling life. And where I am right now in my career, I'm hitting those promises to myself, and it keeps me feeling fulfilled in my day to day, but also in my performances.